Welcome back to another episode of The Gentleman's Journey. I'm Jack of Alpha Phi Delta, and I'm here with JP Swenson of Alpha Psi. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Jack.
Yeah.
I'm from Alpha Psi at Cornell University. I'm going to be a rising senior next year in the School of Industrial Labor Relations. Very excited to be in Minneapolis at convention.
Yeah, it's good to be here as well. This is my first convention. It's cool just to end up in a new state with a bunch of people you never met and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
My first question I have for you begins kind of with the beginning of your Chi Psi experience. What brought you to Chi Psi, and what was your first experiences with Chi Psi like?
Sure. So freshman year at Cornell is definitely a really fun, interesting time.
Yeah.
You kind of get thrown into like a large school with 6,000 undergrads or however many there are. And your first semester is really mainly about kind of finding your friends in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really fortunate to have my twin brother at Cornell as well. And we both kind of found ourselves in the same friend group by the end of our first semester of freshman year. And then when recruitment started in the spring semester, we all kind of stuck together and we all kind of agreed as a friend group to rush Alpha Psi Chi Psi. And that was like kind of the best decision I could have made.
Very cool. It's brought you here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
My next question, how has the Brotherhood and Chi Psi as a whole, for that matter, affected you over your undergrad years as you'll be a senior this year?
Yeah, it's definitely meant a lot to me, especially as an undergrad at Cornell. Things can get quite lonely and cold in the wintertime.
Yeah, sure.
And it's also difficult to like find like a great community once you leave like your freshman dorm situation.
Mm-hmm.
So after I joined my spring semester, it was really about kind of integrating into the Brotherhood and finding this like great community of people who are older than me, people of the same age group, and people who I can look up to as well. So it's been a tremendous experience.
Good. That's good to hear. You're the current number 5, as you mentioned, without divulging any kind of the ritual and traditions that we hold close and secret to our hearts as Chi Psi. What about the ritual and tradition do you think helps Chi Psi nationally, and why is that important to the fraternity?
Yeah, I think it's really important the position itself as the 5 to keep all the brothers in check.
Mm-hmm.
And to understand from the brotherhood level, like what bonds us together, as a group of gentlemen, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't just a group of friends who like to have fun with each other and who live in the same, beautiful lodge, as we call it, but it's a place where, we have traditions and rituals that we keep secret and keep dear to ourselves. It's important to know that, when we are having fun, it's important to keep in mind that at the end of the day, we are brothers.
Yeah.
And that we must like stick to our core values at the end of the day.
Very cool. I think that's important and very prevalent across all alphas. As a rising senior, obviously you've had your experiences with Chi Psi for 3 years now, we're on your 4th. What advice would you give to undergrads to help maximize their time and experience as undergrads in Chi Psi?
Yeah. Well, I'd definitely say to be open to all opportunities, specifically within Chi Psi. There's many opportunities to assist the lodge. There's tons of positions. There's e-board positions which take a lot of time and commitment, which are awesome. And I encourage all brothers to run for elections if they so feel. If they so feel.
Yeah.
But there's also other positions that involve less commitment that are also very, very fun. Like health and wellness, we have Brotherhood Chair.
Mm-hmm.
We have someone who manages the IM Sports League, the intramurals.
Yeah.
So really finding a way to involve yourself within the Brotherhood is a very rewarding experience.
Yeah, I can attest to that. There's really a position for anyone and anything. So
Yeah.
It's cool. I heard you spent this summer in Africa doing nonprofit work. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because it sounds super cool.
Yeah. So the school that I'm in at Cornell has a wonderful program through the ILR school. It's called the Global Engaged Learning Program. So it is a program in Zambia, and there's also one in India, but I chose to travel and do the program in Lusaka, Zambia this summer. And it was a 6-week program. We stayed with a host family for 6 weeks, which was a wonderful family. Experienced like the cultural aspect and the language and the food, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important aspect was the research we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
We were working at a place called the Southern African Institute for Policy and Research, and we partnered with like the lead researchers there on access to justice issues in Zambia.
Wow.
So we're sort of trying to, understand like the layout and the landscape of access to justice, as well as trying to like pinpoint those vulnerable groups, as well as we focus on labor and employment rights in Zambia as well.
That sounds awesome. Well, is there something that was your favorite part about your time in Zambia, or is it just all awesome?
It was a wonderful experience overall, but I would say the most memorable experience was coming home from like a long day of research. We lived in a community,
Okay.
a local community, kind of in a rural area.
Yeah.
So we would just walk outside of our home, and then there'd be like 30 or 40 kids just like waiting for us to bring the soccer ball.
That's
and we used to
awesome.
play with them and hang out.
That's
So
not a bad way to end your day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
It was awesome.
And to wrap things up, I've been asking this to everyone, just because I think it's a good spot to wrap things up. What has been your favorite Chi Psi memory thus far, if you could pick one?
Yeah. Well, it's really hard to choose. There's
Yeah.
tons of memories to pick from, but I'd say the most maybe underrated memory that all Chi has experienced, maybe even more so at Alpha Psi, is like being able to walk home after like a long day of classes. They're quite rigorous courses at Cornell, and being able to just like walk in a home where you really feel at home.
Yeah.
I really feel that the lodge is my second home, and feeling loved and supported by all my brothers, especially through tough times, is a wonderful experience. Like to pick a specific memory,
Yeah.
it's difficult, but like every meal is amazing.
Yeah.
Hanging out with the guys after and in between classes and at nighttime as well. So really just spending time with the brothers.
For sure. There's definitely extraordinary in the ordinary, and that's kind of been a common denominator with other undergrads and alumni I've talked to. But I appreciate you taking your time out of your day and coming here and talking with us. We'll see you next time on the Gentleman's Journey.